The season did all end in Japan, goes without saying. I think our emotions and how we felt all came out then, and the rest is history.
40 years ago, one of the most charismatic Formula One drivers of all time won the World Championship.
I missed the first race, but I was lucky enough to go to the subsequent race in South Africa, and that's where I first met James. We hadn't spoken or met before that. Two characters with rather obvious long hair. It was my first year in Formula One. So to go in and actually win Drivers' World Championship at my first year was pretty good. Japanese Grand Prix was most probably even more so because of the contribution that we had to make as team members. I don't believe all the hype that was around at the time. I don't think James was quite a ladies' man, but not quite what he was depicted as. I just think people warmed to him. You know, he was British. There's nothing like having the British public behind you. They really do like their champions, and James was going to be that champion, and when he was, they let him know. When I arrived at the factory, obviously the car had already been modified for James. Previously been prepared for Emerson. Emerson was a slightly smaller person than James, so it was modified. There was a scallop in the side of the chassis for the hips. James didn't have a big bum, but he was a big boy. His feet, the M23 had quite a low bulkhead. They took the toes out of his racing shoes, which we sometimes wondered whether it was a good thing, you know, if you were in a fire or something, whether you'd want your toes charred. But luckily, he only had a couple of accidents and his feet were okay after them. The M23 was a car that I thought was not flash, if I could say that, but for its ability to, you know, for handling, for preparation from a mechanic's point of view, it was an ideal car to work on. I always remember Ken Tyrrell coming up to Teddy Mayer and saying, we may not have the flashiest cars in Formula One, but they do the business, and that was very true. It wasn't an easy pit stop. James had a left front deflate on him, but he also had the left rear deflate on him as he came down the pit lane. So the car was at an angle, and when you jack it up at the rear, the front goes down even more. So the little, what we call pad jacks at the time, Davey Ryan, who was on the left front, he couldn't actually get the pad jack under. So we'd finished our wheel, two of us doing that. So I ran down, and I think there was someone on the front, on the nose, me under the back, and we helped to get the car up, and then Dave could complete his pit stop. I think this all going on, James was getting agitated in the fact, I want to get back out on the track. I think that was what ultimately at the end of the race, James thought he hadn't got out soon enough to get himself in a position where he could, win the championship. But as it transpires, he did.